There is a specific kind of quiet that settles into a home when you are past 50 and the children are gone, not just physically but emotionally. When an adult child keeps their distance, maintaining a cold and guarded perimeter around their life, it feels like a rejection of your very existence. You wonder, wasn't I enough? Didn't I give everything? The distance feels like a verdict on your past. But what if the distance isn't about the past at all? Today, we turn to the profound wisdom of Viktor Frankl to uncover a meaningful truth that transforms this pain, a truth that reveals why the distance exists and how you can find peace within it without losing your self-worth. By the time you pass 50, you expect your relationship with your children to evolve into a mature friendship. You imagine Sunday dinners, shared advice, and an easy, open connection. Instead, you find yourself standing on the outside looking in. Your adult child keeps you at arm's length. Conversations are brief and superficial. Visits are rare and feel obligatory. They defend their privacy as if you are an intruder. This distance is agonizing because it feels like a violation of the natural order. You raised them, you know them better than anyone, yet you feel like a stranger. You might find yourself chasing them, texting more, asking more questions, only to feel them pull away further. The rejection triggers a deep, primal shame. You feel like you have failed at the one job that mattered most. But Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who found light in the darkest of human experiences, teaches us that our suffering is not the end of the story. He argues that suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. The distance you are experiencing is painful, yes, but it is not meaningless. It is often a necessary, albeit clumsy, step in the architecture of a human life. This video will guide you through 5 profound insights that reveal the meaningful truth behind the distance, helping you to navigate this season with grace, understanding, and a renewed sense of your own life's purpose. The meaning of healthy distance versus punitive silence. The first step to finding peace is to discern the nature of the distance. We often interpret any distance as punishment. They are doing this to hurt me. They are cutting me off. But Frankl encourages us to look at the meaning behind the action. For many adult children, distance is not a weapon. It is a shield. They are in the thick of building their own lives, careers, marriages, identities. This requires a tremendous amount of psychic energy. To build their own structure, they sometimes have to step out of the shadow of yours. This is not hatred. This is structural necessity. Frankl speaks of the will to meaning, the drive to find one's own purpose. Your child is currently driven by this will. If they feel that being too close to you clouds their judgment or pulls them back into a childlike role, they create distance to protect their emerging adult self. They are trying to find out who they are when they are not your son or your daughter. If you interpret this distance as abandonment, you suffer unnecessarily. But if you reframe it as gestation, a time for them to grow into themselves, the meaning changes. You are not being rejected, you are being outgrown, which is the ultimate goal of parenting. The bird must leave the nest, not because it hates the branch, but because it has wings. Seeing the distance as a sign of their quest for autonomy, rather than a sign of your failure, restores your dignity. It allows you to respect their boundary instead of trying to batter it down. The confrontation with the tragic triad. Viktor Frankl identified the tragic triad of human existence: pain, guilt, and death. As your child moves through adulthood, they are inevitably encountering these 3 giants. They are facing the pain of disappointments, the guilt of their own mistakes, and the realization of their own mortality and limitations. When they keep their distance, it is often because they are ashamed of their struggle with this triad. They don't want you to see them bleeding. They want to present a polished, successful image to you, the person whose approval likely matters most, even if they deny it. If they can't be the hero in your eyes right now, they choose to be invisible. Furthermore, you represent the tragic triad to them in a visceral way. As you age past 50, you become a living reminder of the passage of time, death, finiteness. Seeing you aging scares them. It reminds them that time is running out, that roles are shifting, that they will one day be alone. This existential fear can cause them to pull away. They aren't avoiding you. They are avoiding the reality of mortality. Understanding this meaningful truth helps you stop taking it personally. Their distance is a reaction to the human condition, not a reaction to your love. They are overwhelmed by life. By realizing this, you can move from a place of hurt, why don't they call sowis, to a place of quiet compassion. They are wrestling with the weight of life. You become a witness to their struggle, rather than a victim of their schedule. The dangerous trap of hyper-intention. When we feel someone pulling away, our instinct is to grab them. We try harder. We call more. We ask, "What's wrong?" incessantly. Frankl called this hyper-intention, trying to force a result with excessive will. He observed that this always produces the opposite effect. The more you try to force sleep, the more awake you stay. The more you try to force intimacy, the more distance you create. Your adult child feels this hyper-intention as pressure. Even if you think you are just checking in, they feel the energy of your anxiety. They feel your neediness. It repels them. It feels like a debt they cannot pay. The meaningful truth here is that letting go is the only way to bring them back. Frankl suggests dereflection, taking the focus off the problem. Stop obsessing over the distance. Stop making the relationship the project of your life. When you withdraw your energy and place it onto your own life, your hobbies, your friends, your passions, you remove the pressure. You become a neutral, safe space again. You signal to them, "I am okay. You don't have to fix me. You don't have to entertain me." This release of pressure is often the only thing that makes an adult child feel safe enough to approach. It is a paradox. To get close, you must be willing to stand back. You must respect the distance to bridge the distance. This requires immense trust, but it is the only path that respects their freedom. And Frankl taught that freedom is the essence of being human. If you wish to support this work, the thanks button is there for you. Thank you for being here. The power of attitudinal values. You cannot control your child's distance. You cannot make them call. Frankl teaches that when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. This brings us to attitudinal values, the highest form of meaning we can achieve by the attitude we take toward unavoidable suffering. If you face the distance with bitterness, guilt-tripping, or martyrdom, you confirm their decision to stay away. You become heavy energy. But if you face the distance with dignity, patience, and tragic optimism, you change the entire dynamic. The meaningful truth is that your attitude in the waiting room determines the quality of the reunion. If you spend this time building resentment, the bridge will burn. If you spend this time cultivating your own garden, the bridge remains open. You can choose to be a lighthouse parent. A lighthouse doesn't run around the island looking for boats. It stands firm, shining its light, regardless of the weather. It is reliable. It is there if the boat needs it, but it is fine if the boat sails past. This stance of unconditional, non-demanding love is powerful. It says, "I love you enough to let you go. I love you enough to let you miss me. I love you enough to trust your journey." This attitude preserves your self-respect and models emotional maturity. It shows your child that you are a solid place to land, should they ever choose to dock. Overcoming the existential vacuum in yourself. Finally, the distance hurts most when your life is empty of other meaning. If your identity is entirely wrapped up in being a parent, then a distant child leaves you with nothing. Frankl called this the existential vacuum. The meaningful truth is that this distance is a wake-up call for you. It is life asking you, who are you now? It is an invitation to rediscover your own purpose separate from your lineage. You have a responsibility to your own life. You have gifts, experiences, and love that the world needs, perhaps outside of your family. When you focus on filling your own vacuum with service, creativity, learning, or spiritual growth, the pain of the distance diminishes. It doesn't disappear, but it stops being your whole world. You become a person who is living, not just waiting. And paradoxically, a parent who is vibrantly alive is much more interesting to an adult child than a parent who is sitting in the dark waiting for a phone call. Your joy becomes a magnet. Your independence becomes an inspiration. Frankl urges us to say yes to life, in spite of everything. Say yes to your own future. Say yes to the new chapters that are waiting for you. Do not let the distance of one relationship, no matter how precious, cancel out the value of your entire existence. The distance of an adult child after 50 is a profound sorrow, but it is not a meaningless one. It is a rite of passage for both of you. It is their clumsy attempt at self-definition, and it is your harsh initiation into a new kind of identity. By understanding the meaning behind the distance, respecting their struggle with the tragic triad, avoiding the trap of hyperintention, choosing a dignified attitude and filling your own existential vacuum, you transform this season. You move from victimhood to wisdom. You realize that love is not about clutching tight, it is about holding space. You can love them across the miles. You can love them through the silence, and most importantly, you can love yourself enough to keep living. Now, I turn this over to you. How are you finding peace in the distance? What new meanings have you discovered in your life since turning 50? Please share your wisdom in the comments below. Your story helps others feel less alone in this quiet struggle. If this video brought you comfort, please like it and share it with a friend. And subscribe to our channel to join a community of parents finding strength and purpose together. You are more than just a parent, you are a whole world.